This is Paul. Yeah. Yeah, I went to a meeting and I spent all afternoon resetting my phone. Yeah. But I think I got it fixed for the time being. I looked to see if I had gotten any emails, but I hadn't gotten any emails. In fact, I didn't get any phone calls. Somewhat disheartening considering how much crime I've documented and how many lawsuits I've been wanting to file. It's one of these situations where you sit here on the streets and you ask yourself, what could be the possible reason for not enforcing the laws of the United States? What reason could there be for holding a man's sons hostage, obstructing my rightful ownership of all my assets, obstructing my right to contact attorneys? There are those that would say, well, he's never getting an attorney. And then I thought about the hundreds, could be thousands of attorneys that I've emailed. The obstruction of the laws will only last so long. The obstruction of my right to legal counsel will only last so long. It's kind of like this. Those that thought that they were going to control the population and they were going to cause a civil war and they were going to obligate every American citizen to do what they want, they cannot fathom that what they had planned will not work out. Now, in their minds, as long as they're focused on what I'm not able to do, they feel like they're successful. But in my mind, when that time comes where I do get attorneys and I do get my assets and I do get my sons and then I do get Marilyn and her kids and then I do move from Clallam County, I will be living in a private residence where I will be getting oral surgery and I will get these broken teeth out of my mouth. Do you know my mouth hurts right now? I have broken teeth in my mouth and they really are causing me a considerable amount of discomfort. Now, for every sheriff, every law enforcement officer, all of those that are commissioners, judges, and justices, that day will happen where I will leave Clallam County with what is mine, and then from some other location, I'm gonna sue the fucking shit out of every cop in America. See, the thought was that I had to live in the location where I file lawsuits. I was going through that military justice manual. It's like 1,000 pages or something. Yes. And as a victim, I have certain rights that are being obstructed. I have the right to sue those that have been victimizing me. I have the right to sue those that have refused to enforce my victim rights. I have the right to sue those in the United States military, whether they're active duty or retired. As long as they've been receiving retirement pay, they are legally liable for the enforcement of the fucking law. Now, these court martials, there's always a big question of where the jurisdiction is. As I had read a lot of the different laws, to have jurisdiction over the parties, the minors, and the subject matter, you had to protect the rights of the respondent and had to protect the due process rights of the respondent. Now, when you didn't give me notice and opportunity to be heard, you guaranteed yourself a court-martial. Now, I know, let's say you're Judge Porter and you're in the Air Force, and you're thinking to yourself, I'm not only going to prison for not enforcing the rights of an American citizen, I'm going to a military prison. Now, for a lot of those in law enforcement that have been in the military, there's this blurry idea that, well, I can sue every person in the military. That's not necessarily true. Some people were following command, and I had read in that military court-martial manual that they put out for those that are looking to become attorneys in the military, undue influence on the part of those that are admirals and generals to refuse to enforce the laws of the United States because they just can't be told what to do. Now, generals, admirals, it turns out that even those that are retired, as long as they're getting military pay, they can be sued and put in military prison for thinking that they had the right to keep my sons from me when I have the right to custody. Now, I know it's hard to believe, but I'm pretty fucking sure that that manual gave those examples so that those that are retired would know that they can actually be tried under the jurisdiction of the United States military. Now, it's one thing to get a lawsuit from a civilian attorney. It's another thing to be tried by a military attorney. Now, did you want to enforce the laws? Because as I read it, there was no jurisdiction for the fucking protection order.